And so now I'll do some Q&A. So the rules for this Q&A, try to focus one question, please. If I skip your question, feel free to ask it again. I certainly would rather answer questions about pre-alpha, but if I see some that interest me, I'll certainly be willing to ask more. Answer more. It's about what, 4:18. So let's say we do this until 5 o'clock. So let's go. Let's start with the questions. How long will be the test? Each test will probably be an hour. The stress tests will be longer. We plan on running a lot of tests. So this will not be, just so we're very clear about this, this won't be a pre-alpha testing period where we run one test a week and go, hey, we just ran a test for you guys. We want to have a lot of tests. We don't want to burn you guys out, obviously, on testing or even playing the game, because it is closer to a game than now just an engine. So you will certainly have a ton of opportunities over the next 5 months to get into the game if you're alpha or above. And that's the thing. This is bonus time. Am I happy that we were late? No, of course not. It sucked. But I am very happy that we can offer this to you folks, to our alpha folks, who will now be able to get in and see the build and see the game ahead of, I don't want to say schedule, but ahead of our current schedule. IT is, of course, invited to all tests. That's part of being IT. Plan on releasing some instructions on how to submit a bug in the correct way. I will be forums for now. Question about my diet. Well, thank you very much. I've been working really hard over the last 5 weeks at the gym. I go 4 or 5 times a week, and so far the body's held up. So thank you for that. I am quite a lot thinner, and for all the right reasons. Question, are the AMD card frame rate issues fixed? As of now, there are no open issues with AMD cards, as far as I know. There may be something on Andrew's list that I'm not aware of, but I doubt it. So no worries there. Are people allowed to stream or YouTube the tests? No. This is pre-alpha, folks, and until we are, ready to go public with it, then we're not going to allow streaming or distribution. And we ask everyone to, honor, that request. Do we expect to keep an NDA up for the entire process, including alpha? Actually, no, we don't. But because what we're going to be showing is not the gameplay of Camelot Unchained when we launch, we certainly don't want a bit of confusion. I mean, we don't intend to have projectiles that can track over a 400 meter map from side to side. We don't expect to have, some of the other things that, whether it's the very, very long cooldowns of some individual spells, though we will have long cooldowns, for example, and long cast times for group spells, which is a BSC thing. We're not going to have those in the finished game. Just as in this, game, we may have spells that are even quicker than we plan on having, just so we can test some of those things. Can we read behind keys in pre-alpha? Yep, already done. Are you going to be able to test for exploits? Yeah, God, I hope so. That's part of what we want for both our alpha and IT guys. Will people still be able to buy alpha access? Oh, absolutely. The alpha access you can buy certainly at least until we open alpha, which hopefully will be in February. Will there be any NPCs, especially one that looks like me, so you can kill me? I certainly have a sense of humor about that, no problem, but we won't have that in for right now. Are we going to put some of the content of the website in Spanish? If we can get volunteer folks to help translate and localize from our backers, we'll be happy to do that. Will characters be wiped after each test? Valdez says these are not characters, as you know. These are archetypes. Will we wipe? Yes. We're going to wipe early. We're going to wipe often. I said this before the Kickstarter, I think, even on one of the either Reddit threads or on certainly the foundational principles. Look, wiping is something that we should all be quite comfortable with. We have promised that we're not going to charge during this period, during the alpha as well. And, you guys and gals are not going to be playing, your essentially the live game. And so, yes, we are going to be wiping all the time. That's just how it is, and that's how it has to be. Any ETA on founders tiers? Well, now that we have announced pre-alpha, yeah, we're going to get back to that. We didn't want any distractions whatsoever, or as few as possible, until we reach the point that we are today. And the other thing is, I didn't want to start putting up new tiers or anything that looks like, hey, we're trying to get, more money from you folks, until we met at least this goal. I mean, if we'd been on time and we had alpha launched when we had originally hoped, I probably would have had the tiers put up, new tiers put up, or even old tiers put back up. But to me, it just seemed wrong. We were late with alpha, and when you're a game like ours, even as active as we are with the IT folks and as active we are on the forums, we want to be able to show something to our backers. So, we'll have that opportunity starting on Wednesday. What environment will we see in the pre-alpha? Very similar to what you saw during the BSC. Essentially, we took that map, expanded it out, added objectives, added more daises, added some more, trees. We added a couple bushes just for fun, and we're going to be expanding that more and more over the next few weeks. When can we see a stealth archetype? When I get to the stealth system. How much audio is implemented in the test? Bingo. Sorry, none. Do what most people do during their MMO play times anyway. Put on your own music, enjoy it. We are certainly looking and want to get sound and music in reasonably quickly, but that hasn't been a focus of ours. We know it's important. Obviously, I've spoken about this both during the Camelot time, Warhammer, and afterwards. So, yeah, we will have that. Will there be any servers in the EU for alpha testing? Right now, no. We can certainly talk about it, but part of the reason we want to keep the servers, on Amazon and not Amazon, as far as I know, located in Europe, is to see how it is for you European folks. So far, what we're hearing from our internal testers is that they are having absolutely no problem. But this is what we want to test now, so we can get it ready and right at launch. Because you do not want to certainly make those kinds of decisions after you launch. When can I give my extra account to friends? When we have the time to get everything we need in the account editor set up properly. How many players per server and how many servers for PAT? Well, that's part of what we're going to be finding out, won't we? We want to see how many the servers, can handle. We were over 80 in our last test, and that's not for all the servers. That's just with one instance. So we have to see how many we get. Will we have shiny weapons like the BSC client? I think so. Can you be more specific on the timetable for the tests? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Right now, again, three time slots will absolutely be in the mix. One geared to Europeans, another geared to East Coast folks, another geared to West Coast folks. Question about no banes and boons for crafters. No, we just haven't gotten to them yet. Of course, they're going to be banes and boons for crafters. Crafters ain't second-class citizens in this game. They're their own class. We just haven't gotten to them yet. Planning on implementing collision detection? Well, some of our IT guys can answer that question for you right now. Question about giving streamers special privileges. I don't think we've given any yet. So not quite sure what you mean. If you think we're in the future not going to give special privileges over the oil backers, we've already done that. We've invited a bunch of IT folks into the game early. We're going to do that even more, over the next few months, over the next couple of years. As some of you guys who I know are in chat know, that I sent out an email a number of months ago inviting the wrong tier into IT, and I apologized to them by telling them that we were going to get into IT free of charge, and we did that. So I think we've shown an awful lot of loyalty towards our backers, and we'll continue to do so. Building construction system, certainly not in this PAT. Question about North American players being able to play on EU servers. Of course. We have said from the beginning that we are not going to region lock in North America and Europe. The reason I cite North America and Europe, because the same thing I said during the Kickstarter for Asia, and that is going to be different, or may be different. But for European and North American players, no difference. And same as far as I would expect at this point, with South America as well. Will the PAT checklist start implementing pieces of the crafting system? Yeah, that one you'll have to wait and see. A question from somebody who says they got that email and never got into IT. Hey, if you did not get into IT, you did not get that invite, please contact me on the forums. We will take care of it. As Rhaegar just told you, he got in, and frankly, all I did is took the list of people who got that email, and we invited them in. I know we added at least 176, I think, from that group, and it should have been everybody. So if you have not gotten into IT and you on that list, contact us, please. I want to get you in. When will the next PAT list go up? Probably next week, Mihuge. Maybe this week, but probably next week. Will we ever see me in a giant duck suit and quacking? Oh, I'm sure that can be arranged. Just a question about the day-night cycle. It's irrelevant in the current build. It's just there for testing. The final day-night cycle will certainly be something we're going to be spending a lot of time getting right. It's just in there now, so Andrew could have a pretty cool initial system where it actually tracks logically and not just based on, we're setting it for a few hours. It's kind of cool. That's going to get even better. Can I give an approximate number of active IT players? I can't give active. The total number of people in IT and above is about 1,000, Expected alpha players, we're taking a pool of about 8,000, maybe almost 9. I have to check the numbers. Give my opinion on how good the PvP aspect is. Right now, it's just fun. It's not, it's not PvP in the sense of Camelot Unchained's PvP will be, but it's just a lot of spells and abilities going off. Again, more to test stuff than anything else, but also to have fun, because I do think it's important for our testers to have a little bit of fun at the same time that they're testing. It just encourages them to play more, and that's what we want. Is there a limit on number of players AoE effects? No specific limit on AoE effects that you can cast at any one time, or that could be right now on you. I think we do have a limit, but we also will have a limit, as I've talked about, on the number of buffs you can have on you at any one time. Will there be a penalty when you die? Oh, absolutely. What's my thought on concerning real selling money items accounts for real money? Look, it's the same opinion I've had forever. That hasn't changed. You guys, I think everyone out here knows how I feel about those things. When it comes to accounts, it's even in our, it's either in our TOS for the game, or it's on one of my drafts about what people are allowed to do, just like back in the Camelot and Warhammer days. No question of whether technology, how is it progressing with my experience of alpha. Well, we're not in alpha yet. We're not even in pre-alpha officially until Wednesday. Have we been able to do everything we've talked about and dreamed about at BSC? Of course not. I'm sorry. If we'd been able to do that, the game would be ready to go right now. Is it progressing nicely? Absolutely. One of our players during testing said, "Wow, your projectiles are tracking better than, I won't say the other game, in another game than another games already do, and you guys aren't even in alpha yet." So that kind of made me feel good. Will we be able to adjust Banes and Boons in PAT at will, or just make a new tune? I haven't thought about that. We'll probably, to make it easy, allow for people to do that during PAT. We certainly want to make it easy on you folks to mess around with the Banes and Boons. So. Oh, thank you, Zenimer. Yeah, watching a projectile track when you've launched it and timed it just right, and you've got a sniper essentially up on a hill, and you see that he's beginning his cast, and you're hoping it's a long cast and get to fire, and then you fire a quick projectile to disrupt or kill it. Fantastic. Fun, fun, fun. And, same thing when you see somebody trying to outrun them. It's like watching a Roadrunner cartoon. Where the guy is actually trying to get past, and no, missile is just going to keep tracking you. What is a Bane and a Boon? A Bane and a Boon are ways that you can customize your character to give him or her a bit more, I wouldn't say panache right now, because the things that we're mostly working on are things that are actually stat affecting, or weapon affecting, damage affecting, health affecting, all sorts of things. So, that's what the Banes and Boons are for. So things that can be, good for your character, but also things that are bad, frankly, that, in order to get a Bane, in order to get a Boon, you got to take a Bane. Thank you, Genesee. I appreciate that. Question about all alpha backers. Yes, everyone who has alpha is going to be able to get in the stress tests, and then we're going to break them up into smaller tests. Because frankly, with about 9,000 people, we do not want to spin up, the large instances, larger instances on the Amazon servers, which we pay for by the hour, of course, just to see if people are going to come in or won't come in. So we want to break it down into smaller tests where we can, not have to spin up all those many servers, because they don't spin up, sadly, instantly. Not unless you already had them spun up. Am I expecting mandatory Bane and Boon for races? Probably. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure we will. That's part of playing a race. I mean, if you've got a race that's a little bit slower, we could certainly implement it without a Bane and a Boon, but then there may be some things that are very unique about your race that we want to do as a Bane and a Boon. Question about the typical duration be when a Bane and a Boon is applied. A Bane and a Boon is not an ability. It is something that is your character. So if you have a Bane and a Boon, it's there for whenever. It's automatic. It's part of who you are as a character. We wanted you folks to be able to have some fun with your character creation. Frankly, and I've spoken about this, before, my hope is that you spend more time in the character generation system for this game than you have any other game, including some of those games that have awesome character creation systems. And I don't mean by adjusting the hair color or the eye color or the boob slider. I mean your character. What makes him and her tick, the stats that are so important in your character's, life. The Banes and Boons that are important to your character. That sort of stuff. Will classes be able to use a combination of weapons? Oh yeah, absolutely. I thought I've been very clear about that. You will be able to, use weapons besides the ones that might be appropriate, for your class. I don't think and certainly this is something I've talked about forever. We're not doing that with weapons. We're not doing that with armor. If you want to be a mage who walks around in the heaviest iron armor you can find, go right ahead. You might not like what happens sometimes, but it's up to you. Will there be a special server for testing UI mods? Haven't thought about that actually. I would think not, but there may be a reason why we might want to do that. I'll think about that. And Andrew will think about that. Any word on the next class announcement and story? I know Max is working on a new story, and I'm certainly, for those folks who've been in IT, I've been working on a vision document for one of the fighter classes. So we'll see what happens there. Question from Knight about UI. Yeah, the UI in our game is probably more customizable than any UI in any MMO that I'm aware of. That was one of Andrew's big things, and I couldn't agree more. Yeah, look at what Tim said. That's a perfect way to really emphasize and highlight how our UI is different. Is there going to be a queue system for stress tests? Absolutely, has to be. Have to see what happens. Got to make getting our code right in the beginning is a good thing. Will archetypes have unique looks? Yes and no. So here's and right now I'm sure the office is laughing, at least those who are listening, because they always hate when I say yes and no. So with the class system, which I assume is what you were talking about, we want to give you the freedom to make up some of your own combinations. And so is it possible that a healer is running around with a sword? Yeah, I have no problem with that. I don't think we've been, again, very clear that, if you want to customize your appearance, if you want to be that healer, you want to, using a sword, you want to be a fighter who uses a staff, go for it. This is up to you. There may be some penalty you'll pay, of course. Again, a mage who's walking around in heavy iron armor might not react well or as well to certain spells. Their movement rate will be slower because they'll probably be more encumbered. So, it's up to you guys. Now, what's important, and this hasn't changed obviously since from before the Kickstarter, the class is very strong. Healers heal. Right now during pre-alpha, everyone has a base small heal because frankly we can't make sure or guarantee we're going to have enough healers in there. But when the game launches, or when we get into beta, certainly, if not in alpha, you're going to see the strength of the individual classes. We don't want fighters who are also healers. We don't want mages who are healers. We want healers who will heal. So, that's just an underpinning of the game. Will we get Archer and Bard archetypes in PAT2? Anything about PAT2 in terms of what will be in there? Please wait until we actually put up the checklist. We're still going through and working out, frankly, this on a feature by feature basis. Could we put a bio section in the character screen? Did you see that thread on Massively? Personally, I'm all for it. I mean, I'm an old mudder, right? So I have no problem with that at all. Will we do it? I don't know. Do I have any problem with it? Not at all. Right now, Piranha, yes. There's more than a few pre-made attack abilities for each archetype, and there'll be even more. One of the things that we're going to be doing over the next month, certainly, is add new abilities to the game. We have to test different things, and now's the time to do it. Question about buff bots. Boy, have I talked about that a lot. I think everyone certainly knows my thank you guys for jumping right in and saving me having to explain how I feel about buff bots. Okay, just a heads up, 15 more minutes in this. I think music needs to be a bit of both. I certainly want music that, if you want to say John Williams style stuff, that maybe a little bit big, old Hollywood style as well for epics. But I think ambient music is also important. Can players communicate in PAT? Absolutely. We want to keep the sides talking to each other, and also so we can see it. But there's no reason at this point to go with realm-specific language. You have a realm-specific channels that you can talk only to folks in your realm, but you speak in general chat in in English or whatever language you want to actually write in. But there will be obviously no communication once we get further along, no communication between the realms once we get further along. But for now, it would be foolish not to allow it. Any news on the next stretch goal? Nope, that's one of the things we're talking about. We will be sticking to what I had said a few months ago, though, that the next stretch goal was not going to be a big feature. We certainly have enough things on our plate, and I'm not going to try to raise an additional money for the studio by promising that we're going to add these big, cool new features, which could end up delaying the game more. No thanks. For the PATs, what kind of feedback are we looking for? Really, bugs and glitches more than anything else right now. Again, these abilities are not exactly how they'll work, certainly, once we get into alpha. But certainly things like, do you feel movement is too slow right now? Do you feel that the character creation system is hard to understand? Or do you like anything, or love anything so much that you don't want it to change? For example, if you look at the character generation, you go, my God, this is exactly what I want. Tweak a couple of things and it'll be perfect. That's the sort of feedback we want as well. When I come after you in game and kill your character, will I get a prize? No, because I'd have to give away a lot of prizes. I do die a lot, but as anyone internal testers can tell you, I also kill an awful lot of people. I was and still am a pretty good sniper. Will I be looking at adding any more ITs? If you mean people from IT, I mean people who are not in IT into IT, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to keep doing that. Anyone who, we've been watching, obviously, the forums. We've been, getting help from other people as well. We're happy to give people, IT access for helping us out. Any other takeaways from the BSC days? No, not really. I mean, the survey results were fantastic. I couldn't be happier with them. They really tracked very nicely with what I expected, though I was a little pleasantly surprised at the whole Vox thing. We had more support than I thought we would have. Now, for those who don't like the concept, it doesn't mean that we're still going to absolutely positively, no chance in hell of changing it. But we did get a lot of even better feedback than I was worried about. So. Yeah, a lot of people kill Andrew when he's working. So, touting that you've killed Andrew when he's sitting and looking at code, that doesn't get a lot of, plus ones. I'm sure some of our guys played DayZ or Rust or other things. Has it influenced anything? No, not really. We play so many games, and the different teams play so many games. Different members of the team play so many different games. It'd be hard to track, to any one game. Any specific ideas on what future stretch goals could be? Yeah, I mean, things like adding another artist, as you say, with a programmer. Don't need to say a stretch goal for a programmer right now because we have open, headcount for that. But it certainly could be, for example, another concept artist. Could be for another modeler. So we could add, more stuff to the world to make it feel a little more worldly. Will founders still outside alpha be able to at least create characters? At some point, yeah, certainly. I want all of our backers to be able to play with that as well, just not immediately. How has game industry responded to my BSC ideas? Oh, I don't know. I think some people pay attention. I think other people couldn't give a damn what I do. Doesn't bother me at all. Well, the only people I care about, frankly, are the backers. If you guys are happy with it, fabulous. If you guys aren't happy about it, well, then we're screwing up, and I hope not to do that. Cold Steel, I see about your brother. The only problem with that is right now we're not looking for any junior programmers, which unfortunately your brother would be. So, while he may be very talented, it would be very hard for us at the current time to take in another junior programmer. So I'm sorry about that. If we get further along, or when we get further along, that's a different story. In terms of Full Sail, yeah, it can be quite good depending on where you go, who your professors are, and what kind of programmer you are. We obviously have some Full Sail guys here. Question from Travi. Yeah, I look healthy. I take it that your workouts have been going well. Yeah, other than my knees, which don't feel great. I'm usually in braces. Not bad, heavy, just kind of, yeah, I've screwed up my knee a few times, braces, when I work out. But yeah, 4 to 5 times a week, an hour to an hour and a half per workout. I've dropped more than 3% body fat in the last week. So, last month, excuse me. So, very happy with that. But thank you for the compliment and caring. Any plans to interconnect guild communication with social media interaction or external messaging systems? Oh, yeah. We can certainly see what happens there. We're not stressing this, though, as, hey, this is the most connected game, because you could go up on Facebook or you can go on Twitter and all that. Not really worrying about that right now. Not our focus. When do we get to chop down a tree? Probably later rather than sooner, but who knows? Will there be guild alliances? I assume we will have a way for guilds to work together. How sticky that is something we'll have to talk about. Yes, right now we're thinking about Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for the testing, for the stress testing. Sunday, that way we can get a bunch of people who can't get in during the weekend. Okay, guys, 5-minute warning. Are we still looking at or have any interest in solution network architecture consulting from the Metro DC area? It depends what you actually mean by that. Right now we're pretty confident in what we're doing, but I'm always interested in somebody who's got a way that we can improve what we're doing here. When will we see some more gameplay? Frankly, over the next 5 months, as we continue to add things to it. I stressed both at the time of the delay and earlier in this talk and in between that we're focused on tech first and foremost. If the game can't support a lot of people, then we don't have large-scale battles. If we can't have the sort of ability system that works well, then we can't be BSC. So, we need to be very smart about it, and that's why, for example, just as I said with the delay, and I've said since, we haven't spent, any significant amount of time on money to pretty things up, to try to say, oh, don't worry about this, guys, look over here. We haven't done any of that, don't have any intention to. A question about the depths. There will be control of it, absolutely, in order to get in. Macbeth, thank you very much for your compliment. We appreciate it. Team worked very hard. I had a lot of late nights to get us to where we are. Question about realm ranks. As I've said, anything every time when that question has come up. We don't need realm ranks in the game. The whole game is a realm rank, essentially, if you think about it. We added realm ranks to Dark Age because we needed an advancement system that was different from the main advancement system. But the entire advancement system in this game is RVR. So we don't need realm ranks. We just need things that will continue to allow players to get more skilled, to improve their skills, not just to get new skills, and that will allow players, even within a horizontal system, to have a bit of an advantage over new players, whether it's not only the number of skills, but that they actually get better at them. So adding realm ranks to that right now certainly is not something we need. Any thoughts or ideas on the final game's name? Yeah, a lot of them. At some point, I'll explain exactly why we've been delayed right now. You guys will understand then. Zenzima, thank you very much. Thank you. That's a really nice thing to say. Appreciate it. Oh, Rhaegar, do I love answering the same questions over and over? I really don't mind. It's part of my job. It's part of what, whether the people who are asking those questions are backers or even people who may become backers. The only questions I hate answering again and again are the ones where somebody's trying to talk me into something that, we either haven't promised or wasn't part of the foundational principles or anything like that. Because no, we're going to stick to the foundational principles. We're going to stick to what we've said. And just before anyone says, is Mark referring to stealth? No, I'm not referring to stealth at all. Obviously, we talked a lot about stealth, and people on our forums and in IT, thanks, Rhaegar, know that, how I feel about the whole Veil Walker, Veil Stalker idea. Okay, so as is traditional for my Q&As, I'm going to look for one really good question. And so when I see it, I will answer it. And then we will end the Q&A. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Okay, Bride, that's really nice. Thank you. Okay, I'll answer two questions because the first question will allow me to say something nice about people. Mark, how the hell did you bust so much ass over the last 3.5 months? Because I am blessed to have a very talented and hardworking team, because I have a great partner in Andrew Meggs, because we've got a producer with a sense of humor, because we've got our team led by Scott, who are not only talented but actually love what they're doing, because we added new programmers who've lived up to our expectations and certainly in some cases exceeded our expectations. No, Donnie, I'm not going to cry. But that's why. So that's how we busted, so much ass. And also, we had a lot of help from our IT guys. Did we have all the numbers that I had hoped? No. I was a little disappointed in that. And players know that. But the IT guys who tried to make it and the guys who did make it, they were there. We'd send out last minute notices, and they would flock to it. Even if we just go into IT and type test, these guys come into it. So that was a really big help, and will continue to be a big help. I am thrilled at the response from our hardcore IT guys, and they will indeed, and they have indeed been a big help to us, and I am very pleased with them as well. And again, the team just did everything they needed to do. Okay, here's a good one. Okay, will the crafting class be the only class to make the best gear? Or will all classes have the same opportunity to make the best gear? The answer is yes. They will be the only class to make the best gear. If you are not a crafter, you can do small crafting stuff, but you cannot be an expert crafter. I have said from the beginning of the Kickstarter, and even before, that our crafters have to be the ones making the great stuff. And that's all there is to it. If you're going to spend the time to be a dedicated crafter, we have to reward you by making sure that you guys are the guys that everyone wants to go to. If I undercut you guys in that way by saying, well, yeah, but these other guys who aren't crafters, they're almost as good as you guys, even that would be a cheat. No, you guys are going to be crafters, and at least the ones who want to be crafters, they're going to be, they're going to be the shit guys. They're going to be what you want, and the guys you have to go to if you want the good stuff. That's all there is to it. So I think that's a good way to end it. And guys, as always, on behalf of everyone at CSE, thank you very, very much for your support. And again, to our IT guys, thank you so much for helping us get to where we are. We'll be setting up the schedule tomorrow, and so you guys will be able to see it. For those guys and gals who are in Alpha, look in your mailboxes later today for our FAQ. Though I may just go ahead and post it on our forums. I'm going to think about that, since frankly, there's no reason the backers shouldn't see that as well. So that's it. Oh, question about messaging me as you suggested. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And that's it, guys and gals. And I'll see you soon. Thanks. Well, I put it on standby.